guys said you guys kind of came on board as the World Cup was taking place, right? So do you remember which game it was? Was it literally right at the opening, second round, first round?
Hmm.
Well,
I
we
don't.
didn't start working on the show during it, but we started talks while it was
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
My
I
my
mean,
que The reason I'm
sorry.
asking you, sorry about that. The reason I'm asking is like if you guys have been greenlighted to work on the project, then you're naturally following the World Cup just to not just from the standpoint of watching it as a fan but because you want to know what's going on and then rooting for the team that you're actually going to be following. Like I just want to know where you guys were when everything was sort of greenlighted on your both ends, like which games were taking place that you started following them.
I was there talking with Matt Renner pretty early on, so that by the time the final match happened, I was watching it, going, "Wow, this is you know." I don't know enough about football to know like what the greatest matches of all time were, but I was watching. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is. I can't
Yeah.
imagine a greater match than the one I'm watching right now. And I was texting with him while the match was going on, and he's sending me like iPhone videos there from the stands as it's all going down. So, I didn't know then that I would be working on the finale episode and getting to cut a lot of that, but was extremely excited when showed up for my first day of work and they're like, "You're on the last episode." Great, but
That's awesome. Curtis,
also no pressure, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Curtis, what about you?
I came on or at least was reached out. It would have been January, so it was actually right after the World Cup had taken place. So I think that at that time, I'm sure that like Matt and those guys were already had it in their minds, but then once the World Cup sort of wrapped up, then they're like, all right, let's make a show here. And so yeah, so I mean I sat with my son in our Argentina jerseys and everything already, and so we were like 100% on board, watched every game of theirs. And but yeah, so it was only after the World Cup that I came on.
All right. Okay, that's pretty cool. And which episodes did you guys edit, or together or separately?
I did episode 3. So I did
Okay.
the Netherlands match, which I was so happy about because when I was watching the World Cup, I was like, this is the greatest match I've seen in such a long time. It was so fun, so dramatic. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I got that one.
And then Carlos, you did the last one, right? Episode 4.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Talk to me about the workflow in terms of when you guys received all the footage and obviously, the writers, the directors, the producers are trying to like as a collaboration, like trying to find the certain arcs include and what not to include. And what was that process like? Like, were you guys receiving footage and even interviews as you were cutting, or you had everything at your hand and the process of each of the episodes that you guys worked on?
Um, I I want to say went into production as we went into post production, so we
Hmm.
had some material and started building with what we had, but it became sort of a situation where we would start cutting and say, we need to get this, we need to get an interview with this person, we need this sort of material. And so we were, you know, filming the show as we were also editing it at the same time. And so if you look at the initial cuts that we built out, a lot of them are just slates where like we need someone talking about this thing that happened here. And then we would build that out with, the footage that we had available. And then as that, the interviews came in and archivals came in, we would flesh out, replace the slates with the stuff that we had, which of course, would then go and change a lot of things. So it was this constantly evolving uh, beast of a series that uh, has had many different permutations before arriving where it finally did. Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very collaborative project for sure. Um, Both between post and like the field team, but then also just like within post internally. But yeah, I mean, like I went in, and we had like an initial interview with Messi and a couple of the like historians or
The
the experts.
Argentine generalists.
Yes. But then, you know, as we're going, like I'll speak to my episode in particular, you know, there's a few individuals that were very significant in that episode, like specifically Emi Martinez, Dibu, as he goes by, was like such a pivotal person in that match in particular, you know, with the penalty shootout and whatnot. And so like it was nice because like I really pushed. I was like, hey man, we need to get this guy on camera. Like he is so essential to this specific story. And they worked and they got him in for an interview and really helped. And you know, there's another one, Kun Aguero, who is like one of Messi's best friends. Not when he was not playing it in that match, you know, for medical reasons. He was kind of forced to retire, but you know, he was like present there. And so it was kind of cool, like as the episode, you know, just continually evolved and just, you know, version after version, and it just, you know, you see it kind of just morphing into this really interesting thing, compared to, like, as Carlos was saying, like the very first version of it, that's like half of it is just like blank slate saying like we need somebody here and that. So yeah, so I mean that process was very cool. You know, you don't always get that luxury with a lot of documentaries or, you know, different unscripted shows and things like that. So it's nice to, you know, having production like continually be very active in the post process is really helpful.